And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All right, we are back. It is the Weighing In Podcast, and my man is finally living in Texas. All the driving, all the packing, everything is over. You're there. You look like shit.
Man, it's been a long 48 hours. It's been a long 48 hours. It's been good, though. I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
I'm exhausted.
Good.
I look like shit, huh? Oh, man. Face is all puffy from the drive.
I heard California took some taxes from you just as you were exiting.
Sons of bitches. They did. Oh, man. Those motherfuckers.
Goddamn highway patrol. You got to love those bastards.
Got me, man. Hey, but you know what, though? I know you and I were texting back and forth about it, but he was pretty nice about it. He came up, asked for the ID, no insurance or anything. But then he goes, he was just like, hey, no big deal. But I was doing 95 and he wrote me for 74, which is like, he's like, that's the lowest ticket you're gonna need. That's the lowest price ticket you're gonna have to pay. He's like,
yeah, it's only gonna be $400.
Yeah, something like that. It's gonna be ridiculous. Probably like 340, 350. It happened to me about 3 years ago when I was heading up to Idaho to see family. It was happening up there too. Same thing. Shitty. Sucks. I was like,
dude.
It was literally like maybe 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes before we got out of the state and into Arizona. I was like, damn it. Damn. But you know, once you get a ticket, right? You're worried about getting another one the rest of the trip. So I was just doing
Oh, hell yeah.
75 the whole way. Yeah. I just got stuck doing 75 the whole way. I was like, son of a gun, man. Jeez. Anyways,
slowed the progress down.
Oh, man. You know, it's
I
funny
never
we
gave
got
tickets,
here.
dude.
Everyone was saying,
I never gave tickets.
No? Good
No.
for you.
Bullshit,
man.
Okay, hold on. I want you to think about this. I looked at it this way, and it's funny because people say, how did you not give tickets? There's quotas and stuff. It's like, you know what? You do enough things and you do them the right way, they can't say shit to you because you're busy. And so if you handle enough of a call load that's way over what the other people are doing, you put enough people in jail that are doing bad things, they can't say anything. And, dude, one time because they do have, what was it called? Traffic Enforcement Month or Traffic Enforcement deployment period. And so they get through that fucking thing, right? John McCarthy, 0 tickets, 0 DUIs. Right, and so they start actually trying to like almost chastise me in the roll call. I go, whoa, stop! Who had the most felony arrest? Who had the most misdemeanor arrest? Who had the biggest call load? I had them all, right? I said you can take all your traffic and stuff it up your ass. I don't give a shit, right? And so this boss, I swear to God, this is the truth. He's like, well, you're just not well rounded. I said, all right, I got you, Josh. I can tell you right now, I did 11, and I was probably wrong about this, but 11 DUI arrests in my career because they were all in one night. That night, I went out and said I took everyone that was, you could look, you go, oh, he's drunk. Boom, pulled him over, and I was just lining him up and then doing the reports, lining him up. And at the end of the night, I took 11 reports. Boom, popped him on his desk and said, "That's why I don't do it. It's bullshit." And I was just being my normal dick self, at the time because I was young.
It happens all the time. It still happens.
Not now. I'm a lot better now.
No, your normal dick self. I'm not talking about you're writing DUIs.
So,
oh man,
I hate it. I looked at it. I was being a hypocrite. I broke every damn vehicle code there was driving. I drove too fast. I freaking run red lights. I fucking California, roll through stops. I did everything. So why am I going to write someone a ticket? Yeah. I can tell you, I chased people, chased them down, and finally, you know what? They pull over. They're going 100 miles an hour in the city. And if they were a working person, I said, hey, come on, you're going to get someone hurt. You're going to hurt yourself. Slow down, please. Have a nice day.
Oh, wow.
Go. I don't know. I hated being a tax collector for the city of Los Angeles. It's like not doing it. Kiss my ass.
That's very rare for a police officer to say something like that. It seems to be rare. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of
Most of
them, man,
them-
they'd
most
write
of
their
them
mother
have.
a ticket.
Yeah, if she's breaking the law, I would. That's what part of
See,
being a police officer is.
you'd be that chicken shit mother, man.
No, I would never. Well, you know, depends.
maybe.
My relationship with my
Maybe
mom, maybe I might write her two
Yeah,
tickets.
that's it.
No. All right, guys. Well, hey, let's. It's been a long week and a long weekend of driving and stuff, but there were still some fights this weekend. So we had the main event for the UFC. What is this, Dave? UFC
Vegas 76.
70. Man, I hate that it keeps saying like UFC 48, ESPN 48, or whatever. Anyways, let me see. I feel like I'm echoing in here.
Well, it's because I think you're just room's bare right now.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, hey, talk to me, John. John.
Talk to you about the fight with Sean Strickland against
Yeah.
Abus.
Yep.
You know, it's funny because, you weren't on our last podcast, and I talked about this one as far as Abus Magomedov. He is a talented guy, obviously from Russia, but lives in Germany. And he's good. But, and this is what I was like, I was shocked. He had one fight coming into this in the UFC. It wasn't against a guy that was a high-level guy that you could look at and say, wow. He ran through Dennis Stoffels, but being the main event against Sean Strickland, and if there's one thing about Sean Strickland that, no one can take away from him, the dude is absolutely stone cold as far as he doesn't worry. He's going to make you fight his fight. He's going to take some shots from you. He's going to just continue to put pressure on you. He's going to walk you down. He's going to talk you down. And Abus came out. He looked good. He was landing great kicks to the midsection. He was doing all these things, but he was fighting at a pace and a pressure from Strickland that he could not handle. And he couldn't handle it because he's not that level of fighter at this point. And I know that's not nice to say. He's talented. He's got talent. But, this is the same guy, that, I've seen, have good fights, and I've seen him get knocked out. And you're going to fight someone like Sean Strickland. He's going to make you fight his fight unless you are a incredibly talented fighter that can break what he does. It's going to be a hard thing for a young fighter to deal with Sean Strickland and his simple boxing. And he does, kind of does the Philly shell where, he'll sit there and he rolls his shoulder and, he's got a good jab. And he's got a good right hand that he doesn't fire off that much, but when he does, it usually is accurate. And he just broke him down with pressure. Pressure killed Magomedov. Sean Strickland lost that first round. No doubt about it. Magomedov won. But he actually won it because he created a pace and a pressure that pushed Magomedov to a point where even after just one round, he was having a problem. He was spent.
Yeah, I looked at it in the fourth minute of the first round.
I was going to say fourth round. Which fight you watched?
In the fourth minute of the first round, you could just see already that Magomedov was exhausted. The way he was backing up, the way he was, he was letting Sean put more pressure on him, more so in that first round than earlier in the fight. Hey, so let me ask you though, John. So I looked at it in the beginning of in the first round, in that last minute of the first round. I looked at it like he'd used so much energy trying to use push kicks, trying to be explosive, trying to look like he was trying to land the heavy, harder shot, trying to bully Sean around. And Sean just kind of took it for the first 4 minutes. Do you think that was more of Sean's game plan? Like, look, you've only had one fight in the UFC. You don't know what it's like to main event. You don't know what it's like to be, on a big stage, finally in the UFC. Like, you're here with me. I'm one of the best fighters in the world. Do you think that was his game plan?
Yeah, I do. I think, no matter what, how many times do we talk? Look, there's levels to this. And sometimes it's not levels of, your ability as far as a fighter. You've got a ton of ability. but you haven't experienced the different levels of what guys can do to just make it a fight difficult for you. And everything that you've done in the past, being able to catch your breath, because you throw those hard kicks and guys back off and they give you space and you can breathe within that moment of time. And now the guy's not backing off. You're hitting him. He takes a step back and he steps right back in and he's in range and you have to be ready to go. You didn't get that rest. You didn't get that breath. These are the things that, that's what separates fighters. And it's learning how to deal with those moments, learning how to deal with that kind of fighter. You have to be in there with someone that can do it. And the guys that were always the hardest for me to ever, spar with, fight anything, were guys that just kept coming, just didn't give you that bit of relaxation that, I can gain space. You would move and they're stepping right into that line and you've got to be ready. Not that they're going to throw anything, but they can. So you're ready. And so it tenses you up. And when you're a tense fighter, which it seemed to me that, Magomedov, he was tense. He was tense because he was throwing really hard and he was always having to be ready for what Sean Strickland was capable of doing. It just threw him off and it pushed him in a place that he was not comfortable. And that's why he broke down. There was a couple of moments there in the second round where Sean really opened up with good combinations. Those did damage, but it was the pressure. Overall, if you're going to look at one thing that really caused Magomedov problems, is Sean Strickland and the pressure he creates.
Yeah. I looked at it that Sean has become someone. I mean, on a comparison, the biggest comparison I can make with Sean Strickland is that he's the new version of a Nick and Nate Diaz.
Yeah, very much.
The way he fought Magomedov was exactly the way Nick and Nate fight. Is that he just walked people down, he didn't check any kicks, and he stuck the jab in the right hand or whatever, in the left hand or whatever in the face, and was just sticking it to him. Every opportunity he had, that he could just touch him a little bit, he touched him.
You said it. Didn't check any kicks. And how many kicks did he throw?
None. Zero. Yeah.
Zero. He boxed.
Yep.
But he boxed with a pressure that someone was not prepared to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, when you realize you have to. So when I trained for Nate, the mindset was, even when you land a hard shot, don't get caught up in it.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the mix. There was a couple of opportunities where Magomedov had kicked him. Had head kicked Sean, and it looked like it landed pretty clean, grazed off the glove a little bit, but kind of set him back against the fence. And he kind of put a little bit more pressure, and then Sean was like, "Oh no, I'm good." Just kind of walked it down. When you're dealing with somebody like that, somebody that that I hit you 3 times, or I kick you, or I do this, I do that, and they're still walking you down, they're still putting pressure, they'll still take it to you. Like, I mean, he got taken down, he hopped right back up. It was probably like he was on the ground for maybe 7 or 8 seconds. He was able to get back up to his feet. And they were just and Lorosenko was just talking about how great his takedown defense was.
Yeah.
And then he gets taken down. But then as soon as he got taken down, boom, popped right back up to his knees, then up to his feet. Nice little scramble, and then made space, and great job by him. That to me is when I started noticing the first round was starting to take a turn. It was because Magomedov was trying to get the takedown to slow the fight down. He's like, look, I need to control the top position. And then all of a sudden, boom, he popped back up. He's like, shit, I've spent all my gas, on the kicks, the heavy kicks, the hard kicks, the explosive stuff. Try to get the takedown to slow this thing down. He popped right back up. Now I'm stuck. If you watch after that takedown and Sean got back up, things started to change. The way that Sean started to fight was he realized, I'm going to put more pressure on you. I'm going to keep your back to the fence. I'm going to be the one sticking the jab in the face. I thought Sean fought a fantastic fight. A lot of people I saw a lot of criticism because of the stuff that he said at the press conference and all the other stuff that Sean talks. And, but you know what?
It's just Sean.
Yeah.
They say crazy stuff.
They're like, oh, he's so stupid. He's this. He's like a dumb kid. I'm like, that was a very, very smart fight. A very smart fight. Yep. I thought the way he fought was fantastic. I thought it was brilliant. When you have someone coming in their first main event and only their second fight, in the UFC, and you're like thinking to yourself, this kid's not gonna be able to handle the pressure. There's just no way. 5 rounds, and they had. You know what surprised me also was that this was at the Apex, correct, John? Yeah.
Yep.
And there was a lot more people in the arena this time that I had seen in a long time. They had They had quite a few people in there. So, but I thought that was another thing. You know, like maybe it's a little eerie of not fighting in a big arena where the crowd keeps you going, keeps you amped. Or it could just be a huge adrenaline dump. But they seemed like they were into the fight right from the get, and maybe that had something to do with his adrenaline dump, Magomedov's adrenaline dump. But I thought Sean fought a fantastic fight.
And a little bit of help from that Apex is that 25-foot cage compared to the 30-foot cage. It's a tighter space. It helps him with his pressure. It's a great place for Sean Strickland to fight.
Good point. Oh man, it's so nice for you to sometimes make a good point. I love hearing that.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. Next fight. What are you thinking?
Oh my God. Grant Dawson took on Damir Imagulov. And I'll tell you what. Wow. I thought this was a pretty even fight going into it. I actually thought that, Imagulov would actually try to take Dawson down. And even though he's got great stand-up, but he's got good wrestling too, and really good wrestling defense. He didn't have anything in this.
Nothing.
Grant Dawson just dominated him.
Yeah.
Anything that he wanted to do, and every time that he got, the fight to the ground, I was surprised how much he wanted to get the fight to the ground, and I understand why, especially after watching Grant Dawson, because I've seen Grant Dawson on the ground before. His ground game has improved. It was good before. Man, it was stifling. The way he took the back at times, the way he controlled position, the way he switched, his body lock and the figure 4 multiple times. Every time you saw Damir moving to one side, he switches, moves there, switches it over. You go, God damn, he is just fucking in the zone. He understands everything. He's a step ahead, 2 steps ahead. He wasn't able to get the finish, which you got to give, Imagulov a lot of credit for, because he was in bad positions. He took a lot. But the one thing I really want to say is God bless what Grant Dawson was doing, because he not only took the back and was working for the choke, he was also just every, little bit sliding in an elbow, hitting him with a good shot. He was doing great work while he was on the back, and he was hitting him with shots that made it clear. I thought the first round was a 10-8 round. Not a doubt in my mind. He dominated it so bad and hit him with so many big elbows. I thought it was a 10-8 round, but he just dominated a fight. Dominated a great fighter, a fighter that we all looked at and said, hey, this guy had a good fight with Sarukian. Sarukian beat him, but he was, really a name that was coming up at that point as far as how good he was. And Grant Dawson made it look easier than Sarukian did.
No, John, I agree with you. I thought Grant Dawson, I thought he fought a fantastic fight. I thought everything he did was right on time. The timing of his takedowns under the strikes was phenomenal. He in the beginning of the second round, he took a couple too many shots, because he tried to keep it on the feet to bait him into, loading up a little bit more. But then once he got the takedown, it was just domination. Once he got those takedowns, all 3 of the takedowns, it was just domination from the beginning of the round to the end of the round. It was beautifully done, beautifully executed. It looked like there was moments there where he made Ismagulov look like he never grappled before in his life.
Boy, he did.
It was insane to see. And look, I understand that Ismagulov's got good wrestling. He's got, he's pretty good on the ground in the past, but he just had no answer for the back take. I think in the beginning of that third round, when he got that takedown, and the way he put his hooks in, the way that Grant Dawson put his hooks in, as they were hitting the ground, boom, hooks were in, figure 4 was already on, and the rest of the round was history.
And Ismagulov was in that position of, what the fuck?
Nothing you can do.
Yeah. Felt bad for him. Great performance by Dawson.
You've got to work on getting out of those figure 4 escapes. It's funny. Back in I was trying to remember when it was. Had to have been 2002, 2003, 2004. I was training with Guy Metzger, Dennis Holman, Dan Henderson. We were up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for one of Trevor's events up there. And and we were all grappling and training together. And Dennis Holman was one of the best at taking the back, and he was one of the best at finishing at the back at the time. And he got to the figure 4 on me, and I was one of the only guys. He's like, man, you're probably the only guy that I've ever had to be able to escape out of my figure 4. It's just the way that you position your feet, the way you lift the heel, the way you don't allow them to establish the position on the upside. I mean, those are something that should be some of your main focuses when you're trying to escape positions, because it's no different than like when you get the crucifix. You have to have your go-to on how to get out of it, not just bridge and buck and flop around. Same thing when
flopping and bridging is not the answer.
Yeah, it's the same thing when someone takes your back and they have the figure 4. You've got to be on that until you start breaking with one hand wrist control and just on that back and forth. You're flopping left to right until you can get them to open their grip and start spinning in their back. Spinning to face them. And just I didn't see any sense of he was defending, but he wasn't gaining wrist control. Ismagulov, he wasn't gaining wrist control, and he wasn't really making a real effort to spin in the guard, and that really just kind of cost him the fight. You've got to really get out of those positions by focusing on the explode. One of the best to do it. I mean, is Michael Chandler. He's phenomenal at getting out of the back. Someone gets his back, he does a great job of spinning in their guard and getting to the top position. It's almost like, okay, take my back. I got this. I'm not worried about it. Take my back. It actually benefits. I think it's because he's just got such a short trunk, like his body, and it's like kind of looks like SpongeBob a little bit. Like he's so muscular that he's got no real waistline. It goes right there.
I don't think it's not a short trunk. He's got a very thick core.
Yeah,
he's got a thick trunk.
Better wording.
And that does a couple of good things for him as far as he doesn't have that tapered V where someone can really crank down and get that tight, on it and stuff. So it's a little bit bigger on their legs, and he moves. And when he explodes, And it worked for him.
No, and then Benson Henderson,
right.
he's also one of the guys that does a really good job of spinning in the back. All right, but overall, I thought Grand Austin fought fantastic. Timing on the takedowns were beautiful. Top control, figure 4, all of those things. Unable to get the finish, but hey, when you're dealing with top level guys, they're hard to finish. That's the way this goes.
True.
What else?
Michael Morales against Max Griffin. This was the young stud from Ecuador who is just, man, he's athletic. He's good. And he's getting better, and he's going to just continue to get better as he gets a little bit older and smarter and, a little more knowledgeable. Max Griffin, I think it was I'm not sure. I think Michael Morales is 24. Max Griffin, 37.
Yep.
Something like that, but 37 for Max. What's Morales?
I think 24.
I want to say it was 24.
23. Yeah.
But,
nearly 23 as well.
And this is, I hate to say it, but you could see the difference as the fight went on. There was just those elements of that difference of 23 to 37. Max Griffin just a little slower. He wasn't able to touch, Morales the way he thought he was going to be able to. Morales was able to just sit, basically almost flat foot himself, and he would jump forward, hit that jab, hit the right hand. He's just athletic, and he's going to be really good. He's got a lot to learn, but he put it on Max Griffin after the first round. The second, third round, he was really hitting Max with some heavy shots and doing a lot of damage. And the kid he's got it. He's just got to just continue to learn. If he continues to learn, and this is almost like what we're talking with, Abus, there's going to be those guys that are going to give you trouble based upon things that they do that you're not used to that make you tired. In this one, he was able to hold the center of the cage anytime he wanted. Max was moving around. And I really like Max Griffin as a fighter. I think he's phenomenal. He's tough as hell. And he's talented. He ran up against, the new breed, the young kid that was faster, could take a shot, has a ton of power, and just too much overall in the last 2 rounds.
John, what I noticed was that Morales was a lot bigger, seemed physically a lot bigger. Like he swelled back up a lot bigger after he made the weight. I was like, holy shit. he made Max look small. I was like thinking to myself, man.
I
And then in that first round, there was a lot of back and forth going on, but you could see that Max was having to exert a lot of energy to keep Morales off of him, because Morales just walking forward, sticking the jab in the face, trying to stay busy with the combinations, trying to clinch with him, bully him, push him around, hang on him. You know, and at that age, at 37 years old, I mean, I've been there, so I understand. You feel great in the gym. You feel great during training. You feel like, okay, I'm in phenomenal shape. But there's something about when you were 29, when you were 31, you felt like, okay, I'm going to keep pushing. But at 37, you have to take those steps back and get that big, deep breath and go, okay, I need this again. Okay, I can go. You know, it's like it's not like I can just push through it all the way. And I saw a little bit of that going on with Max. He's talented. He's got power in his hands. He's got good takedown defense. But it just wasn't his night, man. He ran into someone who just believes in everything he's doing. You know, I was go ahead.
You could really see it when he was in that third round. He was looking for a takedown. He was trying to take Morales, you know, out of that realm of being able to light him up with the speed. Wasn't able to do it. Then when Morales decided, here, boom, and just pick Max up, put him down, you go,
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, speed and youth. They're wonderful things when they're on your side. They're horrible when they're on the opposite side and you have to deal with them.
Yep. All right, what else?
We had Ariana Lipski against Melissa Gatto. It was a fight. Well, it was not fun. It just wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
It was more of a sparring match. You know, there was a little bit nice takedown by Lipski at the one point, but really it was like, you know, it was a split decision. It should have been, because both of them, no one did anything enough that you go, man, are you really fucking understanding that there's people that are going to judge and they can go the opposite way? You got to give them something.
Yeah.
And there just wasn't anything in that fight.
Yeah, what I saw was I thought Gatto landed a little bit more of the harder shots. Okay. But this is, I think, where when people look at judging, they start criticizing. They go, yeah, but so-and-so was putting pressure and so-and-so was landing the harder shots. I mean, it was a close fight. No matter how do you want to break it. I'm not arguing with how the decision was or anything like that. But what I saw was it looked like Gatto was landing the harder shots, where it looked like Lipski was winning. She was touching her.
She was winning the touch battle.
She was winning the touch battle, but she was also winning the pressure battle. So the two of those things together, I think, won her the fight. And I had it going to Lipski also. But it wasn't a very close fight. Neither one of them really tried to stand out and do something that would really change the tempo of the fight. They didn't want to take real chances, and I think
no one was taking chances.
Yeah, when you're with the UFC, the UFC's going, shit, we went out on a limb for this probably, and they didn't deliver. So you gotta be careful, gotta be cautious, and that goes for all fights. That goes for a lot of the fights.
Yeah, so, but if you're going to talk about a fight that did deliver, and someone who's really looking good.
Yep.
Benoit Saint Denis against Ismail Bonfim. Man, both guys. This is, again, Saint Denis is the guy that, you know, he took that huge beat down in UAE. And then, you know, and I was concerned for his career. I was like, sometimes when guys get beat down like that, they don't come back. Boy, he's come back. Yeah. And he started off that left kick to the body.
Yeah.
Boom.
Which one, John? There was like 10 in a row.
Oh, I know,
it was
man.
ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Just time after time. And actually putting himself out of position a little bit at times and stuff. But, man, overall, he just was just coming after Bonfim. And Bonfim, man, had his moments. You know, he's sitting there saying, you know, come on. Yeah, that's great when you're going, come on. All that's happening is everyone's going, yeah, you're eating shots. And you could see the bruising on his side right away.
Oh, yeah.
From those kicks. It did a lot of work. And you look and you say, you know, when St. Denis talked about it, he says, you know, I talked with my movie coach, you know, he's got power. Even if I hit his arms, I want to hit his arms because I want those arms to get heavy. I want him to slow down. And it's a great tactic. You know, I've seen it used many times. It's a smart tactic. And if you are a good kicker and you got someone that's got good power, hit those shoulders, hit those arms, because they do slow down and the power does not emanate the same way, you know, when they're as if they were fresh. So smart tactic.
No, I agree. When I fought Tony Ferguson, he kept throwing that push kick up the middle. By the end of the first round, my whole forearm was swollen. And it was something I'd never had to deal with. So anytime I touched him or anytime I went to sweep it away, man, it was painful. It was so painful. And so when you're dealing with someone who's kicking and they're just checking or they're blocking with their shoulder, they're trying to block with their elbow, whatever it is, it has an effect. If you get lucky enough to do damage, like that, then it works. St. Denis looked great. I thought he looked fantastic.
Oh,
I thought
fantastic.
I thought the size though, the reach, the tall, long, and lengthy, because he seemed a lot taller, a lot longer than
he was tall, he was
Bonfim.
a lot bigger.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly what I was thinking. He looked a lot bigger. And doesn't Bonfim he has a brother, right? A twin brother or just a brother? Remember the two of them fought, I believe, their last time out? They
twins,
both fought on the same card.
That's right.
But maybe they're not twins, but they're brothers. And
yep.
Yeah. Yep. The two of them. So but yeah, they're both explosive, both good on the feet. But you can't always just fight with your balls, man. You got to fight smart. Circle away from that kick, maybe catch that kick, get the fight to the ground, whatever it takes. But man, he was taking those body shots, and I was thinking to myself, man, you're gonna have to start either start checking them, bringing the leg up high enough
with both arms.
Yeah. So there is two brothers. Yeah. There's another brother,
Gabriel.
Yep. So the two of them, remember, they both got wins last time out. And I believe they both got wins. That was probably the last time I saw them.
They did.
Yeah, so they both look phenomenal back then. This one here, you just got to fight smart. You can't fight always with your balls, and I saw that a little bit too, and that was some of the problem. And so you've got to check the kicks, you got to catch the kicks, you got to try to make them think about not throwing the kick again. And I didn't see any changes in doing that. So he was just loading up, trying to land that big right after he took the body kick. And that's a no-no, man. That's a big no-no. But congrats to St. Denis, and great job, man. Next.
You had Ruzboyev against Vieira. Big knockout. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, John. I was driving, watching the fights, in my car, and I was just like, man, I was like, holy shit. He just folded him. He just boom, straight down, and then follow-up shots weren't even necessary.
No, dude, it was what, a minute into the fight?
Yeah.
And it was just, you could see Ruzbayev just looked comfortable, and it was just waiting, looking for his time, looking for his angle, and when he got it, say goodnight.
Yeah.
That was one of those ones I go, well, that's not a lot to talk about.
No, there's not much to say about it, man.
But it was a great knockout.
It was so. Mm-hmm. It was a timing right off the kick. So he threw the kick, and then he caught the kick a little bit to elevate, a little bit of what Bonfim needed to do. You catch it, you elevate it a little bit to throw them on their heels, kind of knock them off balance. They start to fall away, and they can't defend themselves because they want to put their hands down, and the shot lands clean, beautifully done.
Right.
Yep, and it was beautifully timed, beautifully done. Great job by him.
So this is one of the.
But Bruno's he's tough, man.
Oh yeah,
Bruno is tough. I believe, was that his first loss, Dave? Bruno Ferreira? Was that his first loss?
Yes, it
was. It was. Yeah, he's tough. He's really tough. And
if you remember, he came in last minute as a replacement, and he won. He looked great.
Yep.
And I think that was
against Gregory Rodriguez, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
RoboCop.
Yeah, fantastic fight. Yeah, RoboCop. Yep. And I was thinking to myself, man, this kid's not going to beat him. No, he's not. Oh, he did. He did. He looked fantastic. He looked good. And then coming in on this fight, just the timing on catching the kick and the combination, the straight right. Yeah.
It's Bruno's first loss, so.
Yep. Good stuff.
All right, two fights you really got to talk about. This is one of them. Renat Fakhretdinov against Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee coming back to the UFC. They did not do Kevin Lee any favors. Everyone that you have seen Renat fight, he is a stud. He is good everywhere. This is a guy that was actually, I don't know if you knew this, but he was fighting in Russia and stuff. He wouldn't fight. He would tell you they'd want him to fight someone. He says, "No, he's a Muslim brother. I don't want to fight him. Give me someone from America."
Oh wow!
dude, he could do what he wanted. He was that good, and he's still that good, and he proved it. I knew that Kevin was going to have a hard fight. I knew this was going to be a very tough fight for him to come in and win. And Renat just proved exactly how good he is quickly.
Yeah. There's another fight. There's not much to talk about.
No, there's really not. I mean, because look at the big right hand had a big effect on that choke working because Kevin wasn't really there. He got hurt. He dove, to try to get close and get the takedown, but he's fighting someone that's good with everything.
Yep.
Good in the stand-up, good with wrestling, good with submissions, and he just wasn't prepared to defend against someone that locked up a clean guillotine and a tight one right away, and he was out before he even realized what was happening. And so Herb was in a tough position. He was out for a little bit. Herb was in a tough position because his arms were both inside on the legs with weight on him, so he's trying to see if he's loose, and it's a tough position. It was a good call to stop the fight. You got to, because now you're going off of look at the entire body. What's it doing? And you're seeing those feet are just flat, laces down, not good. But big win for Renat. People now know, yep, the dude's the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt bad for Kevin Lee only because I wanted to see him come back and at least make it a contest. And just didn't have an opportunity to get it off the ground. And I hope no one takes it the wrong way. I would love to see him go back to 55. He had his most success at 55. He's got a big body for 55. Maybe he can't now.
Take a look. Did you take a look at his back?
I know, but Johnny's always had a wide back.
Yeah, he has. But I mean, it was his lats. I'm like, man, because I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, I don't think he can make 55. I mean, he could if he went on a nutritional thing and really got serious about doing it. It probably would be the right thing for him to do. I don't know if he's going to, though.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, he's so well built. Like, his shoulders, his back, he's got thick legs. Like, he seems like a physical specimen. And
he is.
But when he gets out there, he seems like he gets knocked off balance quite a bit by, when he gets hit with shots. Or it's even if they graze a little bit, like his footing is not underneath him all the way. I don't know what it is. Something about just something about him that it seems like it's throwing me off. I mean, because he's got all the intangibles. The kid can wrestle. He's got power in his hands. He can kick. I mean, he's got all the tools, man. I mean, his submission game probably needs a little bit of work. His submission defense does, but I mean, his submission game needs some work. He's a fantastic fighter. I think he got caught up a while back in all the drama and say this, do that, and just I don't know what happened, man. But he's good. He's good. I'm gonna keep giving him a shot because I like the kid. But he's gonna have to get a win here soon. He's gonna have to get a win on the big show here soon. Otherwise, they're gonna start telling him to wrap his career up. So I wish him the best. Is there any other fights on here you want to talk about? Now, there is one I want to talk about, but I'm going to see if it's the same one that I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Oh, Elvis Brenner against Guram.
Thank you.
Kudaledze.
Thank you.
Holy Christ.
Great fight.
I mean, what a fight. What a I want to say back and forth. I'm being honest. Elvis Brenner just took an ungodly amount of damage and punishment and kept coming. And, Kudaledze, we've watched before. That dude is so talented with his technique.
Oh, yeah.
You look at he's throwing the question mark kick. He does it twice. Whack, whack. You look and you go, oh, my God, that was beautiful. The way he sets up his elbows, everything that guy does. He can wrestle. He can strike. He got hit with what you got hit with, just in a different fashion against Yves Edwards. He got hit with what we call a brachial stun. It was a punch. It hit him in the side of the neck, and it shut the nerve down. And you could see his arms dropped down, and he was in that position like, I can't move. And his brain is still there. It's not that his brain has been disconnected. His body has been disconnected by that nerve. He can't move. He was stuck, and so he goes down, and it was the right thing to do to stop the fight, but his brain was still there. He knew what was happening. He just couldn't move his body.
Yeah. No, I agree. You know, when it was funny you brought that up with the East Edwards thing. I was like, yeah, that's exactly something. I got kicked there. But
Yeah.
it made me automatically think, because you said, the brachial stunt and like all this stuff. I was thinking like, maybe this is why karate chops back in the day were so popular on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember? And guys would go like, they'd go limp. We're like, that shit don't work. So, but
Yeah.
this was proof that it does. This is proof. I mean, he hit him square right on the neck. And I was like, holy shit. This fight was fantastic, man. And I honestly believe, like, I always thought like Rockhold had probably one of the best question mark kicks in the game. This kid's question mark kick was on money. And it was so fast. It was so fast. And he hit it well behind a punch the first time. And the second time he just threw it again. And I was like, holy shit. That was extremely fast. Very accurate. I have a question, though. I do want to bring this up. His elbows that he was throwing, those are illegal or they are illegal?
No, legal.
Because he was throwing that like elbow, almost like a tomahawk elbow. He threw it a couple times.
Okay. Exactly what you're doing. Do it again.
Yeah. I that's what I want to ask you about. Like this. See?
Yeah, you see how that is? That's legal. The only it's as simple as it. Straight up, and my hand coming straight down.
Got it.
Any kind of I take it, I throw it this way. And it's legal.
Got it.
Everything that guy does. I want to say he's 0-2 in the UFC now. Take a look
He's
at
good. Yeah.
Cortez, because they brought him in. Yep.
No, he's got to win. He beat Gamrot.
Oh, dude. Damn.
Yeah. He's like, damn. I heard them say that on the broadcast.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I swear to God, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
That was back in 2020. He beat fucking Gamrot because he lost to Demir.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great fight, and that was one of those ones that they were, it was a back and forth. But this dude can fight. That dude is a fucking monster. He is so freaking talented. But you got to give it to Elvis Brenner. Fucking stuck in there. We were talking balls of steel because he was taking some big shots. He got hurt bad. They were talking about the first round. Oh, you could have gone either way. Bullshit. Elvis Brenner got fucking rocked. He was almost out of that fight in that first round. I don't give a shit that he was on top for a while doing little fucking dinky-dink stuff. Dude, that was fucking cool. Grom had that round. That was his. He took the second and was just coming on with all these techniques. Fantastic job of just staying tough, hanging in there, and landing that shot. Way to go! But that was the fight of the night by far.
Oh, by far. I mean, it was a fantastic fight. Because when I missed, I was actually just driving. And I realized I'm like, dang, the fights might already be started. It was like 3-4 o'clock or something like that. And I think the fights had already started. And this when I turned it on, this fight was just coming on, and I was like, okay, all right, let me see. And then I heard that Grom had beat Gamrot. I'm like, oh, whoa, when did this happen? Like, and they were talking about how
I didn't remember that one.
How all the fighters from Georgia were there supporting him. They could hear him in the background or talking about it. And I was like, all right. He's probably got some good wrestling, because I don't recall him beating Gamrot. And then I was like, okay, so let me see. He comes out just with all these flashy kicks and the combinations and the speed. I was like, oh, this dude's nasty good. Really, really good. And then Brenner took a beating. I thought Brenner took a beating in the first round. In the second round, he started coming back a little bit, started having his exchanges. And then in the third, same thing. I was like,
he still took a beating. He had a 2-inch guy.
Yeah.
Fucking.
But, man.
That was a huge elbow strike.
What a fucking fight, man. What a fight.
Yeah.
Good stuff. The other kid, too, Brito versus Wilson. Brito's pretty tough, man. Brito's a good fighter. Oh, really good fighter.
Come on, Brito just muscled that fight up into the cage and decided, you know what? And you saw, Wilson was doing all kinds of little strikes and everything, and Brito was just like, just stand by. And man, when he look, I'll give it. Wilson went for the knee bar, but you got to be careful when you're going for
Yeah.
leg locks and having your head out there because he had it. It was tight. There's no doubt that thing was on, and it was causing Brito problems. But as soon as he got that fucking knee past that hip junction, and he starts to come over the top, you got to move. You can't stay there. And boy, he quickly showed why because he put him out.
Yep. What I've also noticed with Wilson is that he's not demanding or commanding respect with his setups and his striking. He has more of that Taekwondo style stand up, more like Wonder Boy. But Wonder Boy's he'll earn your respect with his accuracy and a little
Wonder
bit of
Boy
that
hits
power.
a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah. I think so. Not that I've ever been hit by him, but it sure looks like it because he goes out there and commands the respect that he needs and gets people backing up, going, okay, now I can fight you this way. Or when he backs up, he just mixes it up so well that you don't know where the punches and kicks are coming from. You're like Chris Tucker on Rush Hour. Which one of y'all motherfuckers hit me?
Which one?
So, all right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk, and we're going to jump into some news. Dave, what do you got for us? But before we jump into that, go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Subscribe to us over there. It's free. It's free, man. It's free. I may get kicked out of Texas for promoting OnlyFans, but guess what?
No, you're
OnlyFans
not.
loves us, man. OnlyFans loves us. They love us.
And we
And
love
I
OnlyFans
like
because you know what? They've been great. Look, they're doing a lot for
They've been
combat
awesome.
sports, both boxers, MMA fighters. They're even doing NASCAR and all kinds of Formula One stuff. They're trying to show people that, hey, there are people on our platform that you can interact with. They're not showing their tits. They're actually giving out information, giving techniques, all kinds of good stuff that if you are a combat sports fan, it's something you might want to just look into. So, OnlyFans.
Yes, so subscribe to us over there at onlyfans.com/weighing-in. All right, John, let's go into this next thing. We got the two old timers getting after it, man. You got Dos Santos versus Werdum. What's your take on bare knuckle fighting?
And it's bare knuckle MMA, by the way.
Oh, bare knuckle MMA, sorry. Was it still
bare knuckle MMA. Okay, I don't want to say. Look, I love Junior and I love Fabricio, but I saw did you see the video, the little Instagram thing of Fabricio shadow boxing by the pool?
No.
Oh, got to see it.
Can you find that there, Dave? Can you find it?
Got to see it.
Fabricio Werdum shadowboxing by the pool.
Yep.
All right, so talk to me. Tell me what am I looking at? What am I going to be looking at here?
You're looking
Comedy?
at a guy that's
Comedy?
body has completely changed.
Oh, no.
Oh. There you go. That one right. Oh. He looks great. God damn, he looks good. Fabricio, you look fantastic. I hope they don't test. Maybe it's out of his system, but he looks good.
I mean,
You see, come on. As soon as you see it, what's the first thing you go? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, right? Like, look at the
Someone at
traps.
40 years old is putting on muscle. It's looking good.
Shoulders.
He's been hitting the weight room.
43, 40. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
No.
And he wasn't fighting. He can do what he wants. I'm not saying anything. I just hope that if he was doing
45.
something, he's got to get off. Yeah.
Look at his body right
good.
there. Look at his body right there.
Uh-huh.
And look at his body now. Hey, I guess we're going to find out. Maybe they don't test as, I don't know. Who knows? But Junior's got power, man. It's going to be an MMA fight, though, a bare-knuckle MMA fight, which is kind of cool. I'm kind of interested to see how this works out.
Well, that's okay. And you take a look at who does that benefit?
Oh, for
A lot of people
benefits
are gonna
Fabricio.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to think it's going to benefit Dos Santos. It's not. He's going to have to be more selective with his shots because he can only throw so many because he's going to hurt his hands if he bangs them off of the forehead or the side of the head of Werdum. And it also helps Werdum with his grappling and getting the submission. So a lot of people are going to look like it's an advantage for Junior. I'm not too sure that it is. Junior would like to have those nice MMA gloves because they help protect his hands.
Yep. there's that, and then it's gonna make it easier for Fabricio to lock his hands, get takedowns, grip and hold, like
everything.
It's good. The gloves aren't going to get in the way. You can shoot it. Like we normally grapple without gloves when we're training MMA. A lot of us do. We'll drill grapple, just straight grappling. We'll grapple without the MMA gloves sometimes. And so,
what a difference it makes.
Oh, a huge difference. Pummeling inside on things, getting the underhooks, all of those things. The gloves get in the way. People don't realize.
You can't
gloves.
Pinch down on the arms the same way.
Yeah.
It's like just a huge difference.
Like on armbar stuff, right? If I'm underneath, I'm in the guard. I'll sweep and I'll reach inside the leg. But people stop doing it because you wear gloves.
Can't do that with a glove.
Sit on it. Yeah, I'll sit on your glove and you're stuck. Well, sure, I can still sit on your hand, but once we're sweaty, it's easy just to pull your hand out. Give you a little bump, pull the hand out. It's not the same with the gloves on. I look at it definitely, and looking at what Fabricio looks like right now, I'm going to lean towards Fabricio. But John, this next fight to me is, man, I think it's probably end up fight of the year. It has the potential to be fight of the year, I should say.
Damn, going all the way to fight of the year.
Yeah.
Ooh. Don't put any pressure on anybody.
Look, I was talking with Kelvin Gastelum like a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, and I was asking him, I said, hey, my concern is that, are you gonna be able to make the weight? Are you sure? He's like, look, my weight's been down. He's like, I've been using someone to help me with my nutrition. Everything's been good. I feel fantastic. He's like, and this is an opportunity for me to really try to put myself into that title talk. I'm like, hey, I'm not mad at it, man. I understand what you're doing. He's at a stage in his career where he's fought the best guys at 85, and now he's gonna, he is that tweener. He's that guy that needs to be. I feel like will have a very successful career at 70, as long as he can keep his weight under control and fight and make the weight and have an opportunity to fight for the title there.
Yeah, if you're taking a look at Kelvin Gastelum, again, he's my Roberto Duran of MMA. So I will always love watching this guy fight. But 17-0, undefeated. If you're going to come into a division and make a mark right away, this is how you do it. You get a win against Rakhmonov, you put yourself right on the map in the welterweights. He's already known and everything. That's going to bump him right up into that position where, yeah, you could talk about title implications and everything. Just one more fight is what I would say. But, getting that win against Rakhmonov, that's not an easy thing to do. Now, he can do it. He's got good wrestling. He's got great stand-up. He's got a chin. And look, he's taking on the very best. When you're taking a look at, he's beaten former world champions in the middleweight division and stuff. The guy is a stud. I love him, but boy, he's got his hands full because everybody that I talk to at Kill Cliff, they all talk about Mr. Shavkat Rakhmonov and say, hey, look, he's not just wrestling. His stand-up is fucking good, and he's got power in his hands. They all talk about how good he is.
His stand-up just comes from different angles. He's got the spinning kicks. He has a little bit of that tall, long, and lanky for the 170-pound division. He's got good speed. He can wrestle. He can mix it up. He's got good submissions. He's a very, very well-rounded fighter. You don't get to become 17-0 in this sport unless you're someone that's extremely well-rounded. He's got it all, man. But I look at Kelvin Gastelum. On the feet, Rakhmonov's going to want to try to probably get this fight to the ground because on the feet, if you look at what Kelvin was able to do with Izzy, and that was one of the best fights I've ever seen in terms of back-and-forth battles, the two of them taking shots, but just a fantastic fight. Kelvin can do the same thing with Rakhmonov if Shavkat decides to keep it on the feet. It could be end up being one of those barn burners back and forth. But I think that Shavkat's going to fight this as a smart fight. He's going to keep it on the feet while they're long, and as Kelvin tries to close that distance, I look for Shavkat probably to get the takedown, try to get to the top position. But I'm completely sold on Shavkat because for me, remember when I was telling you earlier this year, we were talking about who do you think may, by the end of the year, be a champion? And I think he's got a good chance. The win over Kelvin Gastelum and maybe one more fight, I could see them potentially trying to put him into a title shot by the end of the year or early next year. I may even say if he goes out there and starches Kelvin Gastelum, that they may end up trying to put him in there now. Because, Dave, can you pull up the 170-pound rankings?
Oh well, you got
Who's
Colby
ahead of him?
sitting there at the
You got Colby.
because Leon's the man. Colby's sitting ahead of him. You got Bilal's be the other one.
Yeah.
Get rid of Chimaev. Chimaev's not in there. He's going to be 185. And then there's Gilbert Burns just ahead of him. But I would say if they're going to give the shot, they would give it to Rakhmonov.
Yeah, who do you think's gonna fight Leon next?
Well, supposedly it's Colby. We're going to find out. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
So then I guess the only thing that really makes sense is you go Shavkat versus Bilal.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean, I would.
You're not gonna get buy-in from Bilal in that though.
No, you're not. You're not gonna. But
I don't
he's not.
blame him.
He's not really in any position to be on. I don't blame him either. But he's not in any position to turn down a fight like that. A guy who's 17, if he ends up fighting him, it'd be 18-0. I mean, the UFC's gonna be like, look, you want a title shot or not? Like, there's got to be a guarantee, which we know doesn't go very far with the UFC. But it'll be a tough. I think it'll be a tough decision for Bilal to take that fight. But Shavkat's going to have to fight somebody in that top 5 for him to get a title shot. I mean,
could be. Could be Bilal.
You would say Kamaru Usman. I would say Kamaru Usman, but they train together, John. They're both a killer.
I hear Kamaru is not going to fight him. He's going to be going up and fighting someone who's on that list. But
yeah,
I hear Usman's going to be fighting Chimaev.
Interesting. We'll see if that all comes to fruition.
Huh?
We'll see. All right, next.
All right, let's look at this next fight. Another announcement for September 16th. Same card as Gastelum, Tracy Cortez, and Jasmine Jasudavicius.
Can you say that one more time for me, please?
Nope.
Jasudavicius. John.
Jasudavicius.
Yeah.
Look at Jasmine is a good fighter. Tracy is a good fighter. It's really the question of who's going to be able to, impart their strength. Tracy is more of the pit bull in this fight, if you ask me. She's a come forward, throw shots, and just start to overwhelm you fighter. Jasmine does a good job of taking those kind of fighters at times and picking them apart and making them, second guess coming forward on her. This is a good matchup. I really like Tracy Cortez. I like the way she fights. I like, her attitude towards fighting and stuff. So, and she's been doing great fighting with Brian Ortega and everybody on the internet anyway. So come on. Yeah. She's sitting there taking pictures with Paulo Costa. I love that.
Jeez.
She is a sweetheart. And she can do that. Hey, whatever happened with her and Brian, that's their business. And it's, sometimes things don't work out. That's okay.
I'm not going to say anything.
Come on. You got to say something.
She's been out for a while. Tracy has.
Yeah.
She hasn't fought in a while. So this is a tough fight to come back to. And I think Jasmine has
been busy.
I think she's got the reach. She's got the range. she has the ability to, keep something in her face.
Keep her outside.
And make Tracy fight a very uncomfortable. Yeah, keep her on the outside. Make Tracy fight a very uncomfortable fight. Now, will she do it? I don't know. It's going to come down to that. I think the time away. Can you look up when the last time Tracy Cortez fought? I think it's been over probably a year and a half.
It's been that long?
Yeah, I think so.
It was May 2022, so yeah, about a year and a few months.
Yeah,
over a year.
It's been a while, John. I mean,
it'll be a year and a half by the time they fight.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows, man? But I mean, look, there's no doubt she's good. She's talented. She's young. Where's her mindset at? Is it in this fight? Is she focused? So we're gonna find out. Because Jasmine, she just fought what? When did Jasmine fight?
Yep.
She fought what?
I want to say
5 months ago. Yeah,
Not
she
even
didn't fight. Not even that, huh?
Yeah, June.
Yeah,
10.
June. Shit, last month.
See, that's what I said.
You're right. Last
month ago.
Jeez.
And put on a great performance. That was the one thing about Jasmine. She can wrestle.
Yeah.
And so she can take that fight to the ground, but she did, with Miranda Maverick, she did that at times, but she stood up and was throwing her hands. Technically, she is a well-trained fighter. She's well-conditioned, and it's a matter of, can she put up with the pressure of Cortez?
Yeah.
Her wrestling could be the difference maker.
We're going to find out. What else you got for us there, Dave?
Next, a little bit of news right here. Eddie Hearn puts out this little tidbit of information where he says that he is hearing that Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou is going to be exhibition. So he's saying that the fight is happening, but it's going to be an exhibition, no knockdowns or anything like that. And he's just kind of putting that out there.
No knockdowns. You either get knocked down or you don't. What do you
That's
mean?
what he says. He says, "This is what I've heard. It'll be an exhibition, apparently. No knockdowns or anything. I'm only telling you what I've heard. Who knows?"
Okay, first
maybe like no knockouts is like if you lose by knockout, they won't call it a knockout. They'll just say it's an exhibition, and you just
everything. There's no judges.
Yeah,
exhibition means there's no judges. There's no result.
Yeah.
So
someone can still get knocked out. Yeah.
Oh, yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
So no knockdowns. Eddie Hearn misspoke. He was not. He didn't understand what he was.
Yeah, but John, when I'm looking at these though, when I'm seeing these exhibitions, when does the commission come in and go like, you guys are both fighters now? Or is this going to be pay-per-view? Because are we doing pay-per-view for exhibitions?
First off, you can have an exhibition, but they're still going to go through the same protocol of a real fight. They'll have to go through the medicals. They'll have to go through all that stuff. The same thing as it was, but no judges. It is normally shorter in rounds. Exhibitions normally don't have a lot of rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Tyson Fury, you're used to going 12 rounds. If you're Francis Ngannou, you are definitely not used to going 12 rounds in boxing, especially with someone like Tyson. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those ones where Tyson can make Francis pretty uncomfortable with just the range and distance and pressure that he can create. You get tired. So if the fewer rounds, the better for Francis Ngannou.
John, I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just say what if Francis clips him and puts him down?
Anybody can get hit.
How does Francis's life change?
How does his life change? Zero.
No.
It changes life.
You don't think so?
Change his life? No.
How
does it change his life?
I think
because how?
If Francis is able to drop Tyson Fury,
okay.
If Francis is able to knock out Tyson Fury in an exhibition,
now he's knocked out. You said dropped. Now you're saying knocked out.
Let's just say he drops him.
Okay, so he drops him.
Say he drops him with a clean shot.
Okay.
Doesn't that? Do you think we'll see a number 2? That changes his life. That's life changing money, John. We're not talking like if you have something like that happens to you.
You're looking at it differently than me, because I'm looking at if there's one thing that people will automatically say about Francis, it's what? He's got punching power.
He's got power.
He's got power.
Yeah.
Okay, so he drops Tyson Fury. Okay, it's impressive to me. It's impressive to you that he actually dropped the heavyweight champion of the world with a shot, but it doesn't mean that he wins the exhibition. Okay, it doesn't mean that anything other than he dropped him. He's got power, but is it going to lead to another fight? You can't say it is, and it's not going to change his life. He's contracted under the, with the PFL to do MMA there and stuff. Tyson has already come out saying, "No, I fight in a ring with gloves under the Marquess of Queensberry rules. Mm-hmm. I will not do a cage fight with him," which smart move by Tyson. He's dumb if he does. And I don't know. I just don't think that it's an exhibition fight. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's true.
It doesn't mean
anything. I'm kind of leaning towards the hype of, if he is able to drop him. I want to see Francis get that life-changing fuck you money.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it too, but I think it would help the PFL it would definitely make them happy as far as
Good.
all right, we signed him for a lot of money, and he knocked him down. This is great.
Yeah.
It's something they can build off of instead of him getting knocked down.
Unless he decides to never fight MMA and just go right to fighting boxing all the time, then that doesn't help him. But I think he'd still have a voice in the PFL a little bit. I mean, they'd want him to like, hey, look, you don't have to fight for us, but we'd like you to honor, promoting us and helping us out.
Take a look at what they did. Take a look at what they did with when John Jones was there in the corner for Maurice Green. Look at that little, Is it set up? Yeah. Okay, it's all set up. And is it going to go anywhere? No. But the PFL was using it for what? Promotion. I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Yeah.
No, that's smart. That's
right.
smart. Good on them. All right, next.
All right, we have Henry Cejudo out of his Chito Vera fight with I think it was his. It was undisclosed, or was it shoulder? It was a shoulder injury for Henry, because we got another one as well. So just making sure I got the right one.
Yeah, his was a shoulder injury. And look,
Cheeto calls for Cheeto's calling for a Peter Yan fight.
Yeah, he's Cheeto. Look, Cheeto's a man. He says, "Oh, I can't have any. Give me Peter Yan." I love what he's calling out, and that's what makes Cheeto Vera who he is. The best is listening to Aljamain Sterling, though, because Aljamain is saying, "What? Hold it. Weren't you the son of a bitch that was calling Dana White saying, hey, if he won't fight, I will? All this stuff. You're pulling out of fights?" That's like, okay. Does he have a point?
John, can you hear me? Can you hear me, John?
Yeah.
All right, just want to make sure. I can't see you anymore. I just want to make sure. Look, this is a fight game, man. Things like this happen. Shoulder injuries are common, especially when you're wrestling, and you do a lot of wrestling. His whole career has been wrestling, and so it's common. I'm not, to me, Cheeto was a good fight for him. I'm not saying he would have won it, but I'm saying stylistically, it was a fun fight and a good fight for him, and it could potentially have been a really good fight for Cheeto also.
Sure.
Good stuff. But sad to hear. But I mean, he'll be back. He's gonna rehab it a little bit. No surgery needed, from what we understand, and he'll rehab it a little bit, and it'll be back. He'll be back.
And then similarly, we have Sean Brady out of his fight actually next week. He was supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena. His reports here says undisclosed. John says seems to know more.
He's got a staph infection in his elbow.
Yeah.
But hey, it's like people have very little concept of how bad MRSA is and how it will end your life. Okay, his elbow, as far as once he ended up in the hospital, he's got MRSA, meaning that that whole joint is septic almost. It's nasty, and there's no way he can fight in that. He has to pull out. That's just part of the fight game.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets to the point where you can't bend your elbow because the swelling's so bad that you can't even bend your elbow. I believe it's on his elbow. I saw pictures of it. It looked like,
and it is painful.
And his wife's a nurse. His wife is a nurse, and she's basically said, like, hey, you need to get to the hospital now. Like, it's swelled up within the last couple hours. And he had dealt with something similar to this in a different area, different part of his body, like a year and a half ago. And plus, even if he was to even if this was like a week or two away, these time changes, man, are getting me. It's even if he was able to get on antibiotics, like say if this fight was 2 or 3 weeks away. He's losing a week of training, but on top of it, those antibiotics got to flush out of your system. Yeah. They're horrible, man. Like if you have never trained while like on antibiotics, it's miserable. You feel like
hold it. You're not talking about just Keflex or Cipro. You're talking about vancomycin to beat MRSA. You're talking about nasty antibiotics.
And so what happens is, John, like as soon as you start training, it seems like you feel like the guy who hadn't trained in 30 years. You're talking about the guy who used to be the football star, thought he could come in, from high school. He was the football star. He comes in. Yeah, I could beat all you guys up, and then within 30 seconds to a minute, you're gassed and just. Well, that's how you feel on antibiotics. But the only thing is, you were just training 5 rounds 2-3 days before. And now you can't even get past a minute and a half. You're like, man, I'm not in shape. Man, no, you're in shape. Just the antibiotics are kicking your ass. And so I get it. Well, I would never want him to fight while he was on antibiotics. That's why when you guys go back and watch the Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman fight. Look how tired Rockhold looked. Luke's always in shape, man. The guy is in phenomenal shape. In that fight, he had got gout or something in his ankle or foot that week. So he was on antibiotics and went out there and still won the title on antibiotics. And you could see the way he was fighting. He was gassed. He was dog dead tired in that first round. And that's because he was on antibiotics. And so I would never wish fighting anybody, especially at the highest level, trying to fight guys or anybody or any female on antibiotics. So good for him. Hopefully he gets healthy and we see him back in there soon. He should be able to, once you're off the antibiotics, it takes about a week or two, about a week and a half, and then they flush out of your system, and then you feel a lot better. So good luck to him. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show for this week. I promise to get set up in the back and get some pictures and stuff up in here so there's less of an echo, but I want to thank you guys. Look, guys, I read the comments, man. I know how much you love Big John, but you guys don't got a bag on me, man. You guys don't got a bag on me. Jeez, man.
Whoa. What?
People don't like me. People don't like me anymore, John.
I love you, Josh.
They were like, man, John. You know what? I read like 5 or 6 comments. People saying, hope he doesn't bring his liberal views to Texas. I just about fell out of my seat. It was cute. Though.
Awesome. You liberal.
I want to thank you all.
leftist.
I know. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for supporting us. And John, take us away, bud.
Hey, for everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. It's good to have the punk back from Texas. Texas, baby. I love it. We'll see you guys later. Bye.